Is going to be about attention and how everyone anymore seems like they're just seeking attention and all the things that they do. How you don't need attention, how you don't need to worry about validation from other people, and that Jesus is where it's all at. You know, who cares what other sinners of humans and messed up people think when you have a God up there that knows every last thing about you. I mean, no one is all that special or different or crazy in God's eyes. You know, we're one of a kind and we're all unique in our own ways, but you shouldn't just seek attention from other people. Jesus speaks directly against this. You know, he talks about the Pharisees and the Sadducees, how they like the attention and the honor and the high seats in the house and the parties and all this, how they like to be called father or whatever, and just how they are attention seekers and how it's not the best thing for people or whatever else. Apparently going 47 on like a 35 is too fast, too slow, whatever. But I don't know. But all I'm saying is that, you know, when you go to school as a young kid, you start to meet people and they start to care about what kind of clothes you wear. You know, you gotta have nice clothes, otherwise, you know, you're not cool, and you gotta do sports and be good at everything, because then all the girls come to the games and they see you doing good. Or maybe you're a girl and you're a cheerleader and you wanna be in your little uniform and you want to be the one they throw in the air so everyone knows you're the skinniest or whatever, and you weigh the least, and all these things. You know, it's for attention and it's for looks. So many people modify their cars, you know, for attention. It's like the loud exhaust. I have a super loud exhaust on my motorcycle, and some of it's for performance and all and this and that, but some people just do things for attention. I mean, imagine you have a giant F-250 Platinum that's all white, lifted a foot in the air, and you have chrome under everything on the bottom and all that. Maybe that's just your hobby and all that, but maybe, you know, when people crab walk them down the strip in Vegas and stuff like that, maybe that's just for attention, and they're looking for attention. They want people to see their cool truck or whatever. The rich billionaire drives they gotta show up with a fancier car than all the other billionaires, or the rarest edition, or this or that, because they want the attention that comes with it. And, you know, it could be as small as, you know, the shoes you have on, to the car you drive, to the house you live in. People want the prestige of it. It's not even just attention or whatever. They just want to feel special or cool, so they need the all matte black house or whatever, the Pinterest style home, you know, to show off to everyone that drives by, even though no one knows who lives in it or whatever else. You know, the big thing is that there's nothing wrong with having hobbies and things that you like and doing cool things and whatever else, but, you know, it's also a big deal to know where those stop and where they start. You know, are you just looking for attention? Are you just, you know, seeking the validation of other people? Or are you actually, you know, that into it? For my motorcycle, you know, one of the big things that bothered me when I bought it was that it had an orange frame. I don't want an orange motorcycle. I think it looks dumb. I wanted to powder coat the frame like really neat purple and put black and purple plastics on and make it look really neat. And then I realized, you know, I'm riding this out in the woods. I just got done riding a bunch of single track in it, and while like that would be cool, I realized I don't care enough. You know, no one's looking at it, so why does it matter? All I wanted to do is ride good and whatever else. So do I really need to spend all that money making it look a certain way for the trees out in the middle of the forest to see? You know, it doesn't really matter. Another thing is like in high school or whatever, everyone thinks you need to have the fanciest shoes and clothes, and it's just all that stuff doesn't matter. In college, people, you know, they think they have a master's degree or whatever, they get a doctorate, they think suddenly they're special. You know, that you could still be super stupid and have a doctorate or a master's. I know plenty of people in my life who have all these fancy college degrees from like Yale and Harvard or all these places, and it's like, yeah, I went to a tiny school in the middle of nowhere, state college, not even the main campus, and I fly airplanes. You know, I have a good job, and I'm an airline pilot or whatever, and I do really well, and I have a super happy life. Arguably, you know, depending on the day, happier or better than a lot of these other people that have all these even more prestigious things than me. But the point is to be happy with what you have. Be happy with who you are. You shouldn't be living a life trying to fit into what everyone else thinks or what everyone else wants. You should be living a life to fit into what you think God wants out of you, what, you know, you're made for, the image, the talents that you have. If you're a super talented doctor and you just love the human body and all that stuff, go be a doctor. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're super into like gardening and you want to go be a landscaper and garden people's front yards for a living, and you're never gonna make, you know, get rich off of it, but you just love what you do, or maybe, I don't know, fill in the blank with whatever job, and you just like doing it, then all the power to you, and you're doing the right thing. You know, so many people, they think like with jobs, you know, I gotta get the best job because I can't be seen doing this or that, or so everyone just wants attention and validation. You know, they're starved for it. In today's society, people's mommy and daddies don't give them enough attention. They're seeking it out. So many girls sleep with all kinds of guys for validation, for attention, all that stuff. And then guys do all this stupid stuff, you know, to their cars. They gotta, or their trucks, or they think they need this or that to be cool, or they need to have their hair a certain way. Guys and girls, whatever, the makeup, everything, you know. At some point, when do you just say enough? When do you just say, I want to be happy being who you are? You know, God made you exactly who you are. He made you awesome. He made you great. He made you in His own image. And He gives us all different talents. You know, God says we all have different gifts. He's given us different gifts that we're supposed to use. You know, don't just suppress all the good things and all the good gifts you have in your life because maybe your gift is yodeling and you're too embarrassed to go after it, or maybe you're a cool football player but you're a big jock, but your real thing is playing the trombone or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm just giving stupid examples to just say, you know, don't be afraid of what other people think. At some point, you know, you're gonna get to a point in life, like I'm at a point in life, I'm 26, I don't see my friends a lot anymore. I don't really see people. I just live my own life. It's kind of quiet. I see my family and it's really nice. And you know, I'm perfectly content with where I'm at and what I have. And you're never going to be happy with more. That's what I always learned. You know, you don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to have the best situation. You don't have to really have all that much. If you don't have enough, you know, at some point, you know, you got to have something. Like if you're, just go get a job, work hard for it, and then go buy a bicycle that you can go ride on all the mountain bike trails. Go buy a motorcycle, a cheap one, then fix it up. If you want to learn about engines or something like that, go buy a broken up car and fix it up and watch YouTube and put a lot of time and effort into it, and it'll come to be. But my thing is so many people are afraid to go after their interests and their hobbies because it doesn't fit society's idea of cool. I mean, how many people think that, I mean, how many straight squares do you know that are like not very interesting people and they think they want to go skydiving because suddenly if they jump out of an airplane one time and they do that, they're going to be super cool. They're no longer going to be the boring person they were yesterday, that they're going to say, oh, I jumped out of an airplane, I'm so brave and all that. You know, it doesn't change who you are. You know, I'm just saying, it's be who you are. If you're a boring person, in my opinion, you know, who wants to just sit around do knitting all day, you know, go do that. That's what it makes you happy. Do it. Don't think you need to spice your life up jumping out of an airplane because you're too boring the way you are. Yeah, you might be a boring person, but there's nothing wrong with that. God, you made you exactly who you are. He made you how you are. There's nothing to be worried about or ashamed of or nervous about or anything else. You know, God doesn't make mistakes, and He's awesome. He's perfect. He's super cool. Just trust God. Just know that He knows what He's doing, and so you don't need to stress and think that He made some mistake with you or whatever else. Just know that God is good, that He's awesome, He knows what He's doing, and you don't have to worry about it. That if your friends make fun of you for whatever, you know, who cares? Who cares what those people at school think, or the people at work or whatever? You know, if you're a 4 foot tall little girl and you want to drive a Corvette that's chopped with a cam turbos through the hood and you want to go rip it up and down the racetrack on the weekend, all the power to you. Who cares that all the people at the daycare you're working at, you know, or the hospital working at thinks you're a freak? You know, and do what makes you happy. You know, I'm not saying pushing wokeism where like every woman needs to become a mechanic truck driver with backwards hat who lives off grid on a farm that she runs solo. You know, you don't have to do that. You can just be who you are, and that's perfectly fine. That's all I'm saying about that. I mean, just do what makes you happy, be who you are, whatever else, and you'll live a happy life. So many people don't live happy lives because they go chasing things that they're not about, and it just leads to misery. You know, I became an airline pilot because I thought airplanes were interesting. Everyone at school and so these other people I talked to, you know, I was in high school, I give a little presentation about it before I went off to college, you know, at senior year, like, well, we're all going to college for, we had to go talk about. Remember, other people were like, what, an airline pilot? You'll never do that, you're too dumb or whatever. And if I would have listened, I would never be an airline pilot. I'd be working at the subway still, like I did in high school. Or I mean, I'm just saying, you know, go chase after those things that interest you, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Change gears, you know, switch gear, swap into the next cycle, and keep pushing forward. Just the problem is, if you get content where you are, if you try to please the world, you're just gonna have a horrible life. You can't please everyone. You can't please your parents. You can't please all your friends. Just do what's best for you and leave it at that, and everything will work out for the best. God doesn't make mistakes. Like we've always said, God he knows what he's doing. He's good, he's awesome, he's super cool. Don't think, you know, God screwed up on you or whatever, and that, you know, I don't know, just God made you exactly what you are. Don't be afraid to be that person. Just live your life out, chase after what you want to chase after. God doesn't make mistakes. He knows who you are, he knows your heart. Now imagine God gave you some really good talent, and then you ignore it, you suppress it, you blow it off, and go do something you're mediocre at your whole life just because it's less embarrassing, or it's more people pleasing, or your parents are happier, you're doing that instead of what you wanted, or whatever else. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, just be your own person. Don't try to be someone you're not. I'm so sick of so many people in the world. They try to push people to be things that they're not. They try to fit you into a square or whatever. And it's like, if you want to be an awesome housewife with a white picket fence, live out in the country and take care of kids, raise a big family, there's nothing wrong with that. And it's like the modern days tells us what we can and can't do. They almost make it sound bad. And it's like so many people did that for years because it's a good life. And if that's not for you, it's not for you. But don't let society push you around and tell you what to do. You know, we've gone so far one way that they're encouraging the people to be out of the norms. Now all these people are doing out of the norm things that just, you know, isn't who they are, and it's just stupid. And we've gone to a world that just doesn't make sense. But you know, Jesus is so good, he's so awesome, he gives you all these cool gifts, and God is so unique himself. You know, he made us all so unique, and that is too, and you should live it, and you should be happy about it, and you should accept it and be so joyful, and the coolness of God and all the awesomeness that is him. And yeah, just don't forget about it all and suppress it and throw it away. Kind of a weird video today. I don't even know what I was really about. I'm just talking. So yeah, go do what you want to do. Enjoy those hobbies, enjoy what you enjoy. Don't be someone you're not. That's it for today's video. And yeah, you know, you don't always have to try to please everyone else. You don't always have to try to get attention. I guess that's what the video is about, attention. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, you know, don't seek after attention. That's the same thing with like validation and everything else. It's just that you're trying to people please, and people pleasing doesn't get you anywhere in life except depressed and miserable. So yeah, that'll be it for today, guys. I'll see you later. Leave any comments, questions, I'll try to respond to them. Alright, bunch of cool cars up there. See you guys.